RadioZero.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose on 2725. We have a different background.
We're live streaming on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJCUSA, on the Poster Children YouTube channel, and it's entirely possible that I got it. There's something called TikTok Live. It's entirely possible we're on TikTok Live. I don't know. Anyways, streaming. We try to live stream every other Friday, 5 p.m. Central. But you can always listen to the podcast through old school RSS. You can subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. Go to radiozero.us. You can patronize us at patreon.com/radiozero. Thanks to everybody who's still patronizing us. All right.
I'm trying to pull up, like I always monitor the chats, but maybe you can monitor it now, because I don't know, for theory, it's changed for me.
Yeah, everything's rearranged.
Yeah, fucking Trump.
We're in a different room.
Yeah, Trump.
It does say I'm not seeing any chats. I've got the multiple platform chats.
Okay, good. I don't see any.
It's entirely possible nobody's. So
yeah,
and somehow I did this where I could read the chats without having to look at the delayed live feed, which is very distracting. But I don't think I can do that. Okay.
I wonder what like game feeds do. Like, okay, start the game, man. Like, do they do that?
You mean like
we're on Twitch? You're like,
Twitch.
And I'm like, pew 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 pew.
Ooh, realigned membership insights. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know if anything's working.
Well, I'm on the. I see that there are 2 people listening to us on the Poster Children is live now, and one on the Radio Zero is live now. So
okay, cool. All right,
we have our normal amount of followers.
Yeah. No, it's just I just rearranged a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So you never know. Okay. All right. So how's it going, Rose?
I just got back from work. I don't know. You should have seen the kind of day I had. Oh, yeah, you were there too. I just got back. Okay, you know what I just got back from? Let me just say it right out flat. I got back from like listening to people talk about the American Football House, and like in a meeting with Matt Lunsford, Polyvinyl, about a project that we're going to be doing, like Illinois State University is going to be doing with the American Football House. I'm so excited about that. And this came about because there's an author named Will Hagel who's writing. Am I even allowed to say this stuff? I think I am, right? Yeah. Yeah. It says on his website, I think he's.
Yeah, and I think with the 33 1/3 stuff, they actually.
Yeah. Writing a 33 1/3 book
about. Books in progress. Yeah,
so it's a book in progress about Midwest emo, and I think he contacted us because I was talking about Ian earlier. You know, he was talking to Ian Mackay, and Ian Mackay probably said, "You should talk to Rick and Rose." So that's my Ian Mackay imitation. So he talked to us, and we talked, and we had done a project before, right? So for RTFM. We had created like a building that you walk through, and then like with all kinds of memories in it. Not memories, but like just all kinds of different things in it. So like in QuickTime VR back in 1997 or something. Is that when we made that?
96, 97.
96, yeah. In Macromedia Director. What was Macromedia Director back then? But it had like all sorts of. Wait, let me go. Yeah, right. Sorry, monitoring the system here. And it had like, it just had like, if you went into this room, something happened. If you went into another room, something else happened. It was called the Music of America building. And there was like a maze in the basement. There was like you went into one room, you could learn how to program HTML. you went into another room and it talked about situationists, and there was like little puzzles to play and stuff. And just as an aside, that was made before we went to art school, right? So, but it can be considered an art piece. But anyway, they were like that. So there's a precedent. We've done stuff before with like sort of virtual reality and like sort of, I don't know, like metaphors and like texts and contexts. Can I say that? Right?
Texts
and contexts.
contexts.
That's one of the classes that we have. So anyway, so we were talking to this Will guy, and then we got to talking, and then something crazy came out of it. Like I was like, oh, well, we should have our students doing this type of stuff, right? Is that how that all happened? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So like, just be, so for those of you who don't know, there's a house at 704 West High Street in Urbana, Illinois, 61801, that is pictured on the cover of a few American football records. American football being a band, and on tour right now, in fact, right?
And sounds like it.
And so the house has become iconic. So before you got there, and we were talking to Lauren Belanco, who's a studio owner, like she makes immersive experiences and stuff like that. But she had lived in the basement of the house, so she said that I didn't realize what happened. And like one day I was like, I think she said she was in a pool or something, and she was swimming, and like her friend or somebody in the pool took their shirt off, and like on their arm was tattooed a picture of her house. She was like, that's the house I lived in. And they were like, yeah, it's so it's said that the house is iconic as the banana on the Velvet Underground record.
Somebody, just found a while ago the original banana artwork. It's like an ashtray, or is it an ashtray? For some company, like New York. Yeah, it was just like something that Warhol had found in. He did a lot of thrift shopping and things like that, and so I think he had pulled it off of an ashtray. Was that what it was? It was like, it's a recent discovery, finding the origins of that banana.
That's really interesting. Like what other? So, but second only to the banana. So the American Football House is second only to the banana. The the American. Sorry.
Well, what's interesting is you think about buildings. Yeah, so like the cover of Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin, there's that apartment building. Is it in St. Mark's Place? But that apartment building is also the steps for the Rolling Stones video, Waiting on a Friend. I think they're sitting on the steps of that building also. There are iconic rock buildings. I'm trying to think of some others, right?
Where the replacements were.
Yeah, the roof. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Replacements house, right? So that rooftop for the Replacements record. There are these iconic, locations. And,
but
people make pilgrimages to them.
Yeah. And so they were talking about, like, I know I'd read that there's a X, on the concrete where you could stand to take that same picture. And Lauren was talking about, who's the photographer? Well, I can't remember the name of the photographer now. Stupid. I should know it. But, okay, Kevin Dunham is saying the roof of the Stinson's house. Yeah. Now I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, in order to so people, there's an X on the spot where you can take the picture. And she said she remembers the night when her friend was like, "Oh, let's take a picture. There's light coming out of the house." And that's the picture. And so what's funny is the X is there's an X that's kind of wearing off now. Because I was looking for the X the last time we were there. I didn't look really hard, but I didn't see it from the street. And then she said, "Oh no, the X it's kind of the real vantage point is from the neighbor's driveway."
Oh yeah. So you don't want, bunch of
it's so funny.
Pilgrims coming and standing on the neighbor's front lawn.
And
driveway.
so it's in a residential area in Urbana, and so we were talking about they were talking about how like anytime they have a loud party, the police come.
And so, and the weirdness of this, because we did, last summer we visited Henry Ford Museum, right? And there's the Greenfield Village where he collected, like the idea of, it's really interesting to me, the idea of buildings as kind of representing history, right? And how, like either totally transporting or transferring the Wright brothers cycle shop to to a field in outside of Detroit, right? And Thomas Edison's workshops, and how much of those buildings are the original materials and how much is replicas. But it's fascinating, that idea of the historical locations. And
Let's keep riffing on historical locations, because one thing I remember is being, and I've probably talked about this on another RadioZero, but when we were in Seattle, I think we went to like a Japanese garden, but we also went to the grave site of Bruce Lee.
mm-hmm.
Right. And we weren't sure, I have written in my book, cause it's in the tour report, that, you were like, oh, we can't just go to somebody's grave, but then I called and they were like, oh yeah, people come here all the time. So we went, and Walt Mink had like a Christmas card where they were standing around the grave of Bruce Lee, remember? But just, and then in my tour report, it says, just Jimmy, our sound guy, talking about how, now this is how I got to spend some time near Bruce Lee, just sitting there, you're 6 feet away from the remains of the body that was Bruce Lee, that was doing all that stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's your chance to be near him, and so or to be, and I remember also laying on the for better or for worse, laying on the stage at CBGB's, and I'm going to call it CBGB's. Sorry, that's what I'm going to call it. But just thinking about, the sweat and blood and, heroin that dripped off of Blondie. I think I wrote that, Blondie and Devo and the Talking Heads, or Talking Heads. But, you could feel when you're laying on that stage, it was the wood was compressed. I remember it was wow, this wood is so compressed and shiny and stuff. I seem to remember that from CBGB's stage,
Well, it was a fascinating space because also it was 100-year-old bar at least, right? So that's the thing is there was history there, right? The 20 or 30 or 40-year history, but then it was even deeper. It was oh wow, okay, it felt a little not quite old worldy, but it definitely already felt ancient, and the gravity of that. And now of course all that's gone, but I'm trying to think of some other places. Other places we made pilgrimages to. I don't think we haven't done that many.
We went to where Mr. Robot was filmed, right?
Coney Island,
Coney
the
Island.
arcade.
Yeah. Graham was really into that. Where else did we go? We went to where Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where that building is shot.
The outdoor shot.
Yeah.
The establishing shot of
It's
the
kinda
precinct, even though the show was filmed. Yeah, I was just watching some episodes of Night Stalker, which was the sort of precursor to the X-Files and stuff. It was 70s sort of horror show, I guess you would call it. But it takes place in Chicago, and it's really interesting to watch because most of it's filmed in Los Angeles, but then they're just he'll be driving down Lakeshore Drive, and it'll be Lakeshore Drive, and then he'll go around a corner and he's somewhere in Los Angeles.
Wait, what? It was filmed in Chicago?
It wasn't filmed in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
They shot. It's like the Bob Newhart show, right, where he does the walk around at the beginning of the Bob Newhart show, right? That intro where he's walking around Chicago, right?
Oh,
and then they have establishing shots of the L going by sometimes in the show, but the whole thing was shot in L.A., right? And so. I think Darren McGavin maybe would go. Well, it was only one season, but they went out and they shot a bunch of footage of him driving around in Chicago. But for the most part, it was filmed, in like the backlots and streets of Los Angeles. Like like he went like the voodoo episode. So he goes to this woman's house who's a voodoo priestess, and and it's like the sun is like blazing, and there's like lush trees, and it's like a LA bungalow, right? Like but old, like 100-year-old, LA, like the like a house, like the houses in what was it? Like the Big Lebowski when they go into that neighborhood, right? It's like those type of old houses,
that's
right? So
LA
it's
stuff,
it's just really funny to watch, because it's like, you'll have this very Chicago-esque street scene, and then and the L going by, and then he's wandering around
and
L.A.
It's sunny out.
Yeah.
Kevin Dunham says the third and final awning of CBGB is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And that Kolchak is on Me TV every Saturday night.
Yeah, and I got a what did I get? A teacher's discount for Peacock, because I wanted to watch the Saturday Night Live documentary and Conclave, and so then Kolchak is Night Stalker is on Peacock. But that's it. It's like, boy, there's not much else I want to watch on Peacock.
Well, it's good that you got a discount.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other. I was thinking of another place now, and I can't remember what it was. Damn. Oh, just like for me, like driving around Urbana, like a small town, right? 46 miles away from where I live, and just knowing that I've been in a lot of the houses. Like, what was I doing? Oh, I was in that house, I lived in that house. Like, I spent a lot of time in that room upstairs. I've been in a party in that house. And just like, I had a student a long time ago, like do like a project about a mall. Like a mall was a square, and he had like little like Post-it notes on it, and it was like this space in the mall is whatever now, but it's before it was an Old Navy, it was a turnstile, and like,
oh yeah,
like that was really, really cool. But especially Urbana for me, like just thinking about Loomis Lab, like driving past Loomis Lab, some of the buildings look completely different, but I was in that space. How about thinking about like DCL, Digital Computer Lab, was just like a little brick box when I took my classes, and then they built around it, like they built like a whole moat around it, right? Like a place around it.
Yeah, it started out as a smaller 2-story kind of box, and then when they got the money, was that the first what's his name, donation, maybe, I can't remember, but then they built a 3-story kind of shell around it,
right? And then
tripled it in size.
Yeah, and just thinking that like our kid might go to school there, and go into those same buildings, and and sit in those same, maybe the same chairs that we sat in. And we did this twice, right? We did this in 2000, but we also did this in the 1980s. And just knowing that, like, the dorm that we lived in, my mom lived in the other side of that dorm, and, like, driving past there. And there's a Jimmy John's now, and there has been a Jimmy John's for years. But, like, there wasn't back when we were there. But it's like, what has longevity, and just representing that.
And then watching Blues Brothers again. Just seeing the city, and what mall was it? I can't remember what mall they drove through, and seeing the Jewel Osco and the Toys R Us, and just
the different logo,
and then also just the name checking places and driving through places. It's like, oh, where's that? It's like some of the stuff looks familiar, some of it's not, and actually that has some Los Angeles in it too. Like the theater that they perform at is, I can't remember what it is. It's in L.A.
Oh,
it's like the Forum or something.
But then also we were watching the director's cut of the Blues Brothers, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't the director's cut. What was it called?
It said unrated, but I believe it's unrated director's cut, which is just extra stuff. Yeah, it was interesting to see that.
because the only time I've ever watched it really well, I mean, we have like 10 different versions of Apocalypse Now, but that's something different. And in Star Wars, I would argue also
Is it,
something
Rose?
different.
Is Apocalypse Now that much different than the Blues Brothers?
Let's think about that, Rick. So, what are the similarities? They're traveling in a car, just
It
like
is a
they're traveling in a
journey. Yeah.
boat.
And
Are they on a mission from God? Yeah, the
Yeah.
government.
they're on a mission, right? They've been given a mission.
All right.
I think.
Let's do a little. Let's do a little actor connect, because I know you love to play that game. We did that when we were on with Steel Pole Bathtub, on like a month-long tour in Europe. You guys are sitting in the tour bus like the last week, like making connections with all the VCR tapes. So
This was before the Internet Movie Database.
Yeah, so let's go. We're not going to use the Internet Movie Database right now. So let's go. Let's have it.
What's the connection? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you'd say what? Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, right?
There you go.
So you got Carrie Fisher in
She's in the Blues Brothers.
and then you've got Harrison Ford in Apocalypse Now.
Right, and they're both related.
They're connected
In
by
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars. And then you've got, well, let's see. Now, I can't really make a Spielberg connection to Apocalypse Now. Can't make a Frank Oz connection. I'm trying to think. Is anybody in both movies?
Blues Brothers and
Apocalypse
Now. How could there not be?
There might be, but it's going to be.
Somebody got to get to work, Kevin.
But no, yeah, just the fact that they are, they get, well, but they don't get assigned, right? So the nun, the penguin, she doesn't tell them to go on this mission.
And the penguin is a connection to Batman.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. So the nun doesn't tell them but she's the government. She's the government telling them to go, and they're also she's working against the government. The government is going to take away the orphanage.
And so actually there's an interesting thing. So, you've got Willard, he's a sanctioned criminal, right? So he's being given permission to, commit murder, I guess, right? To be an assassin, right? Whereas the Blues Brothers, they're told by the nun that she doesn't want their dirty, criminal money, right? So they're doing the opposite, right? They're criminals trying to do good.
Are there Nazis in both movies?
No.
But there are enemies of the United States, right? Okay, all right, we got April here.
And I don't know, Rose. I don't know if you've been around in the past 40 years or the past 5 years, but apparently Nazis are no longer enemies of the United States.
I know. I understand that. So April Smith says, it seems many of those classic movies from the 1980s are rather problematic with their casual sexism and homophobia. Tell, April.
And yeah, so the homophobia, yeah, so that's apparent with the, and it's kind of mild, but like where Henry Gibson or the guy, the other Nazi in the car falling, right before they die, says, "I've always loved you," or something like that. And so that's just,
I fell asleep during that.
Yeah. And so a few years ago, I watched a lecture about Blues Brothers, and some of it was talking about Neo. Oh crap! I can't remember what it is. It's I called it Blues Face, but it's like Neo. Criminy. I can't remember what it is again. I just trying to burn it into my mind. But basically, this idea of it's a little the sort of passive racism where you have these white people sort of as they're the main characters, the performers, although showcase of amazing rhythm and blues talent throughout the film, right? They're performing, but they're not the main characters, right? And neo minstrelsy. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Nice.
So that kind of idea. So yeah, but this time watching it, I had less of a problem with it, I think.
Because it's Trump's America.
And maybe that's it, but it's also because I think we're getting so the fact is we're 40 more years along the way, and that idea of co-opting, right? And it's so the culture has become not homogenized, but just it's sort of mainstreamed, I guess, right?
Which culture are you talking about?
I'm talking about like
Blues or just all
rhythm
the
and blues.
the showcase of performers.
It's not.
It is. Well, we have more access to it because we have the internet, and we have just, we can look up anything all the time. So that is, I guess that's kind of nice.
Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds is a good example of, it's just kind of like, ooh, wow. Yeah, you have this nostalgic memory of Revenge of the Nerds, but then you watch it, and it's happened with the John Hughes movies too, right? It's like,
yeah, we
although
can't show those to our kids.
Again, I'll say that I found 16 Candles was
You found it problematic back when you watched it when it came out, when you were 25, and you found it problematic. What year did it come out?
I think I was
okay.
18.
You were 16, 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I found it very problematic too. I mean, I think you were possibly meant to find it problematic just because
that's right. It's
are not. The grandma in there, like with the inch of ash hanging, like that was my grandma, like one of the grandmas in 16 Candles. Yeah, like that was a caricature too.
That's true, but I mean, I'm talking more about.
I know what you're talking about.
Asian.
Yeah.
That was just like, what the hell, man? That was bad. And then the sexual stuff.
The rape scene.
Yeah, that stuff. Was more
Can you riff? I gotta go get. There's a toilet paper emergency.
Oh, there's a little bit of a roll in the drawer.
I think he's in the basement. Oh yeah. Look in the drawer. Here, I'll text him.
And there is actually about 10 rolls of emergency COVID toilet paper in the basement. It's not that, but remember we got a big batch of toilet paper that had a swampy smell to it, like it had been stored in someone's warehouse for 5 years. And I've still got all that. I've got a half a dozen of those in the basement. So
Stones Blues been co-opted plenty before and after.
Yeah, totally.
He's saying there's no toilet paper left. All right.
Oh, okay.
You pause it?
No, I can't pause it.
All right, we'll talk once you.
What?
I'm going to complain.
What are you going to do to solve this problem? Well, okay, so you're going to go into the basement. There's not that much left. So we ran out of toilet paper. But that's not because of any shortage. It was just a lack of foresight or a lack of going shopping. We should have gone grocery shopping. Oh, somebody said they've been cranking Grand Bargain at full volume since the 6th of January. Yeah. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not good at vamping here. Did you find some toilet paper? Yeah. But now we don't have toilet paper upstairs.
It's okay. We've got napkin. Or what do we have? Towels.
Towels.
That's gonna be my joke. We have towels. Been cranking Grand Bargain at full volume since the 6th of January. What did I want to? Okay, so let's get into the politics here. And by the way, fuck this lighting. I'm going to get a migraine from it, and I look terrible.
You don't. You look better than. Yeah, no, I think you look good.
Look like you.
Well, I could probably take it down a notch. And what did you say? You probably look like me. So if you can get back on the mic, and then I can move over and I can change the lighting a bit.
So here we are in week 3 of Trump's America, and yeah, that's a little better. It's like why can't I just turn on the light?
Because then there'll be a huge bright light behind me. But yeah, go ahead, turn it on.
Oh, because of that light.
Yeah, try it. Go ahead.
All right.
I was already trying to fix it, but that's why I had. Oh, I could do this. How about that? That's not better. I knew at some point this was going to be everything
I didn't
would
even
grind
see
to
a
a halt
change
about
from
lighting
that.
because you're watching
'cause-
a delayed
oh,
feed.
okay, all right.
Why
Oh,
don't you
interesting.
turn on the light switch behind you and we'll deal with it.
Oh yeah,
Turn the light switch on behind you.
Oh, God.
There you go. Yeah, you
I
look
can't
good.
wait to see what happens. No, it's just this light shining right into my eyes.
Yeah. Oh, I'll turn it off.
Is it going to mess you up though? Let's see. Oh, now you've got a light behind you.
That's what I said. But yeah, it's fine. It's good. You look good, and you don't have a light shining in your eyes anymore. Okay.
I don't
Let's
look.
continue.
I don't look good.
This is not good for podcasting. This is
Yeah.
only good for the live stream.
Yeah.
This long extended discussion about lighting. So you wanted to let's talk politics. What do you have to say?
I don't have anything to say.
All right. Is that it? Are we done?
Do you have anything to say?
All right. See you later, everybody. I guess we're done today.
Did you turn it off?
No, not yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
should I?
Well, I don't like Trump. While we were driving here, you know who the new president is? Trump. You've heard of him, right? Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I heard on the way here that actually was the first time it was really freaking me out. It's something about like saying that Politico has received money from USAID, but it's USAID pays for Politico Pro, which is some sort of a monitoring service.
Like they just have a subscription.
Yeah, they have a subscription, but what's going out on the Fox, what do you call it, America First channels? What's going out?
Who called it? They called it state television,
Yeah, what's going out on state television now?
also known as Fox News.
What's going out on state television, and just all of the podcasts, is that USAID has been paying for
It's been financially
left-
supporting
left-wing
yeah.
propaganda.
Yeah.
And it's getting big, like it's more and more of a problem, and they're just doubling down on it because that's what they can do. And so I thought Musk was president. But that's what they can do. And then, so that's actually like and I was rushing to get back home and I wasn't totally paying attention, but I think that's like, I don't know, they were talking about how that crossed the line somehow. Like that's where, like, I mean, I know millions of people are going to die now because that we're not helping finance USAID, or we're not paying for USAID for however long that's going to happen, right?
And but what are you saying? Like the misinformation, like
Yeah, like
it's
the
a
next
more
level.
extreme-
Yeah, like the next level of like, there's one thing where, I don't know, like, actually one point that they made was that, there's a number attached to it. It's like, the story is that USAID paid for, $8 million, some number of, for Politico Pro and stuff. And they're just using, and so numbers are more believable or something like that. So like they're really getting their message out to completely destroy, like they're positioned to completely destroy any kind of avenues of communication like that that people would have to get their story out. And I mean, it's nice we have a token Republican friend, Kay Paul, right? K. Paul Boyev, we have this token Republican friend who, so you can kind of tell how the Republicans are fighting, because once in a while he'll post something, and I'm trying to remember what the latest thing was this week, like there was going to be a trade war, like there were going to be tariffs on Canada and Mexico. But Trump came to an agreement. He bullied both Canada and Mexico into an agreement. But what our media is telling us is that the agreement had already, it's the same agreement that was already reached back in December with Biden, right? Like they didn't agree to anything else. That's what our media is telling us. But so when I posted that, and what our token Republican friend said, well, I haven't seen anything that I believe with, I haven't seen anything stating that I actually believe.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't. Is this new though? I mean, I feel like this is what's been going on, and it's just I don't know. It's more. I guess it's more extreme.
April's saying U.S. farmers should be irate. U.S. aid buys millions in commodities here to send overseas. Yeah, when is that? So that will be the exception, though, right? Like they're doing they cut off everything, and then somebody who's a friend of Trump's complains, and then they put that back, right?
Yeah, and then the whole question of the tariff thing, and then it's like, well, what was the point of the tariffs? Was it to get Canada and Mexico to create a fentanyl task force and for Mexico to move more troops to the border? I mean, was that the intent of tariffs? Because that was the thing is like, oh, well, we've gotten these concessions out of these countries, and it's like, oh, well, was that the point of the tariffs? I thought the point of the tariffs was to, help our economy, not to negotiate some other thing. Right?
Yeah, it was to make us rich, I believe. It was to stop the but they did like that. Yeah, the new messaging was that, that's what he said. Fentanyl is pouring into our borders from Canada, and we're going to make it stop. So that was his new. That was the new message, and at least he's kind of on message now. They're putting out a cohesive message to their support base. It might hurt a little bit, but everybody's fine with it. The tariffs, and then we didn't have the tariffs, so Trump even got what he needed without the tariffs.
It's a pause, right? What is it, 90 days or something? I don't know.
30 days.
30 days?
Or unless it's changed, I don't know.
No. Oh, it could have. Yeah. I don't know. I'm more upset about this South African knucklehead running the government.
You'd rather Trump do it?
No, I just don't like. Yeah, I don't like.
You don't like a foreigner running our government?
No, I was just being jingoistic. What was I being? Saying it's not a native born American running all this stuff, this mayhem within the government. But I guess that's what happens when you got an oligarchy. Well, no, you see, that's the thing is it's not like Russia. Like I feel like Putin's doing everything, right? He's in charge. It's not one of his buddies, doing all the stuff. So I mean, I don't like the way this oligarchy is being run.
Is this what you thought? Like what you anticipated? Like what did you anticipate? How is it different than what you anticipated to happen?
I don't know. Did I have an anticipation? What did I say? I said it's possible things would be such a complete mess. But it is a complete mess, and it's all executive orders, right? And so far. But I do think things are happening.
So the other news story that I heard driving home here was just the change in jails or something, right? Like trans women have to be in men's prisons now. You like if I guess it's if you have a penis, you got to go in the men's prison. But and that's, to me, I am like, at this point I'm like, just instead of calling it men or women, if the Republicans are so fixated on people's genitals, then and it like a genital has to be like the genitals have to be separated, that's totally fine. So there's a penis bathroom and a vagina bathroom, and you can be a man or a woman, but if you have a vagina, you go in the vagina bathroom, and if you have a penis, you go in the penis bathroom, right? And if you have both, there's another bathroom for if you have both, right? So if that makes everybody happy, and if the Republicans got to stand outside, especially like it's a children's school, let's say a school, right? Republican, you got to station some dad, some good Republican dad or mom, because the good Republican dads are going to be, working, but the moms are going to be home, because that, getting ready to make dinner and stuff. And so the mom can check all of the genitals.
Like a toilet attendant.
Yeah, a toilet attendant, but she just checks to make sure that, okay, this is a penis, so that you can go into that bathroom, and this is a vagina, so that one goes over there. Or a dad, because you may not want you don't want a mom looking.
You have to have a gender appropriate toilet monitor.
Well, yeah,
because I don't want a woman, as I go to as I go to the urinal, I don't want this woman to wander up and sort of peer over my shoulder to check to make sure.
I think just to make sure. I think that's a man's job, is to check all the genitals of the children as they go, and just separate them. A penis person goes into the penis room, and the door signs will be really nice. There'll be like a penis on one of them and a vagina on the other, like sort of maybe I'm going to design some logos for that, or some icons for that, some iconography for that. And then you do have like somebody who separates them, kind of like the Sorting Hat in Harry fucking Potter.
I mean,
Good morning, Cody.
I don't know, maybe there would be some kind of technology or AI that would be able to just identify.
I don't want an AI looking at my child's genitals. I want a man.
Maybe it's just simple tracking, like everyone's identified, and then you can't get into the bathroom.
Now here's where it all broke down for me today while I was driving, about the prisons.
So you were all okay with everything.
I've got this playing in my head already. I'll be on the committee to pick the man who looks at all the students' genitals. We got to make sure he's not,
You know what would be great? Maybe just have like little
like a priest?
No, like little logos pinned on everybody.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, a little like an armband.
Yeah,
like
or
a little
just
armband, like a penis
badge.
armband.
Like, so you'd have the male badge, you'd have the female badge.
Yeah, I think
maybe a pink triangle.
Yeah, that'd be good for a girl.
Yeah,
and some sort of spider,
badging,
like for a man.
badging system or labeling system for
labeling,
everyone.
Yeah. So then, so where it all broke down for me, let me see if I can come to that, because I think we're both exhausted. Where it all broke down was
everyone's exhausted
in the prisons.
Yeah, the whole country's exhausted.
They have to wear gender appropriate clothing too. That's where so that means that a trans woman is going to have to wear pants, because if it has a penis, it has to wear pants. Now, and then I was thinking about this too. I was driving.
So women can't wear. It's going to go back. What
women
was that?
Can't wear pants.
Yeah, like that trial in Los Angeles, right in the 40s or something. The woman was arrested for wearing pants or something, and then did she have to? Yeah, during the trial, she wore pants, and there was all sorts of trouble.
Proof, right? So I was driving, and I was thinking,
is the gender appropriate clothing? Is that part of this?
They were talking about gender appropriate clothing. That's where I lost it kind of on the way here. So So
Before
just,
that, everything was okay. But
yeah,
it's like,
you know what? It's
well,
building up,
yeah.
and that was the straw that
Yes.
broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about like let's just talk about like if you've got a penis, I don't have one, but like every man I've ever known who's put on a skirt has said the following words: "Oh, it's so breezy. Oh, it's so nice." So you've got like a dick hanging between your legs all the time. So you have to wear pants. Why are the men not supposed to wear skirts and the women wear pants?
And
like
then-
anatomically, there's nothing hanging down in between my two legs.
And
right?
And if you're Scottish, do you get like a kilt exception?
Yeah. Okay. Let's.
So I mean, there's all the
Let's
it's-
see what
it's
people
just
are saying
ridiculous.
here. Cody was late. Cody, that's fine. We'll mark you tardy. Gender appropriate toilet monitor. Kevin says it's just a diarrhea of executive orders designed to shave off enough money to fund the tax cuts for the Broligarchy of Elon, Zuckerberg, and Bezos. He's got a like under that from Cody B. I'm glad you guys are supporting. See, we're creating a community right here. April Smith says schools force trans girls into the boys' restroom, and if any harm happens to them, they will get hit with such a lawsuit. I'm also not a big fan of segregating trans youth into a separate but equal facility. Wasn't right during Jim Crow and isn't right now. I may have, and then there's an if, so you must have had a typo. And then Kevin says, as long as space is open for me to go and get my business done, all are welcome. So, first of all, what do you think about a penis bathroom and a vagina bathroom?
I don't see how it's any different than what's being discussed. I mean, that's.
Well, why does somebody so what's the cachet of going into the women's bathroom? Like, I guess, see, that's where like yeah, your man skirt woman pant idea is amazing. Thanks, Cody. I don't know if you're being facetious or not, but I'm happy to get any compliments today.
Well, you wear pants, right?
I wear pants because I don't have a dick that what do you do? Like, if it's not
But
long enough, right?
that's
Do you
not
have to
gender-
put it on
I
one
mean-
side or the other side?
Of my pants?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not. Yeah, I don't have that problem.
Why? You have drop crotch?
Well, no, yeah,
Pants?
that's the way pants are constructed. They are constructed for men, so.
Okay, so let me ask you. I've got a couple other
I
questions.
mean, I
to
guess
ask you.
it is. I mean,
Yeah, you do
never
have
really-
to hang on one side. I've
I
felt
guess.
you.
All right. See, now this is
So
this
what about
is inappropriate.
Okay, all right. So where do your balls go? Do you have one in one pant leg and the other in the other pant leg? That would hurt, right?
I guess.
Do your balls?
this
Is there a separation?
This
Is there?
is the thing is that I actually am not conscious of it. I don't even think about this stuff, and it's like you're making me think about it, and then like going down and like trying to
How
figure
can you
out
not
what,
be
what
conscious
is
about
actually,
that?
Because I don't know. I guess because the way pants are constructed. I mean, the thing is that they're constructed so that this isn't an issue, or at least the pants I wear. I guess if I had really tight pants.
Yeah.
Or exceptionally large low-hanging fruit, then the issue would be,
You
this
have
would
to
be more
pick
of
a
an
side.
issue. Yeah, choose a side.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, I know your humorous take on this is like having a penis and vagina bathroom is what these people are saying basically, but they would object to the idea of a graphic depiction of or even just the words penis and vagina on a bathroom door.
Thank you for elaborating on that.
Yes,
because otherwise you're.
And so I think
know I'm gonna have
it's a
people
ridiculous. I mean,
I'm not trying to be ridiculous, though. I mean, really, like, is that what it boils down to? Like, or is there there's like a biblical, like a woman needs to be wearing a skirt, and a man needs to be wearing pants, and the men and I know anybody I've talked to about this who I care about says that they're worried that their daughters are going to be raped by a trans woman.
yeah, and again, that's just an excuse. I mean, those are excuses. I mean, I mean, what it is people. Some people want to enforce strict gender norms, and it's not simply physical characteristics. It's also cultural characteristics or properties, right? So it's like that's where the dress thing and the pants thing comes, or gender appropriate. But it's like, oh, does that mean that all women now have to stop wearing pants, and that's going to be legally because then the question is oh, if you're wearing pants and you're a woman, you identify as a woman, you can't go into the woman's room because you're wearing pants, because pants are a masculine signifier, right?
So, like in the, it's so in
because then it's saying, oh, and so that's the other thing is like, oh, monitoring this. And so if it's not you're not doing a genital check in every time somebody goes into a bathroom, a toilet, then that means people are going to be, and that's where the gender appropriate clothing comes in, where it's like, oh, we need to identify based on the way a person looks. But then it's like, okay, well, you're dressed like a man, but I think you're a woman. So does that mean I allow you into the woman's room? And it's like, and then this other person's like, oh, I'm not sure if that's what I think you're a man in women's clothing, and therefore I'm not going to let you in there, and it's just all ridiculous, right? It's because and so that all the things about, oh, I'm worried that my kid's going to have a man dressed as a woman, just so he can be creepy in a bathroom, right? And it's like, okay, I guess I don't know if it's a valid worry, but it's not representative of the actual. That's not the problem that they're trying to solve here.
the
Right?
problem
The problem they're trying
yeah.
to solve is that they do not like anything outside of this binary set of parameters for gender, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that is cultural too, right? And so it's not just simply physical, it's cultural, because when they start talking about clothing, then obviously that's cultural. It's not just physical.
So that's like another. All right. So yeah, Cody here's. We got. Well, crotchless pants, gross. Kevin says chaps.
Yeah.
Kevin says ball talk with Rick and Rose, and then Cody says there's good genitals on both sides. Kevin says kilts. April Smith says the Trump regime wants to go with a person's sex, quote, at contraception, but all I know, good conception, I know, but all embryos started out as female. That's why men, because they're so fucking stupid. So the thing is, the thing is that it has to be binary. There has to be men and women, right? This in these people's minds, right? There's such a thing as a man, and the man. What men do is they're stronger always. And that's why they can't compete in somebody with a man's body cannot compete in women's sports. Women are more need to be taken care of more or something. Like, what is there a set? Can somebody?
It's just a more patriarchal kind of very very regimented and restrictive definition of gender, I guess, or just identity.
So so if they're going to start like forcing people in prisons to wear gender appropriate clothing, so that to me, I know that is cruel. I know that's just mean. That is forcing somebody who doesn't want to wear a certain type of clothes. That's like an identity, right?
And that's the thing, though, is I think most prisons have uniforms, right? And if you think of the jumpsuit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not fully versed on this, but so then really that to me would not be like, it's like, oh, you have a choice. That's not the problem. I don't think it's more of whether or not you're in a women's prison or a men's prison, right? It's about that. It's so the clothing thing, I think, is secondary, right? So I guess it's
and
you can't wear makeup or put your hair up in a feminine way.
Yeah, there's probably
right? And all that falls apart too. It's just like, what does that mean? And so you have to culturally define all of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Because I'm looking forward to the 6th season of The Handmaid's Tale because I think we're going to be living it. And so we have to take care of our students. That's the
I don't
thing.
know if we're going to be living it. I mean, do you think that this stuff is actually going to happen? Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we're going to turn into a fundamentalist Christian country, and I'm not saying Christianity. I'm saying fundamentalist Christian, right? So this kind of, again, like
Nationalist?
fundamentalist,
fundamentalist, yeah.
Christian
Yeah.
nationalism. Yes, fundamentalist Christian nationalism, right? And so just in the same way, religious parameters define male and female and gender roles within like Iran or something, right? Any kind of fundamentalist religious state. So I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't know. I don't think I guess I'm overly optimistic, but I think there's going to be pushback.
Oh, there'll be pushback. There'll be enough pushback. This is just a handle that Trump can swing his dick-like following around with, right? It's like swinging a dick, right? So he can just be like, the Democrats want your son to become a lady. We need to end all of this. There's only 2 genders, and your son's not the other one. And then people can push back, but what's also going to happen is it's opening the door for more like just meanness. It's opening the door for more abuse, for more people to like. It's normalizing abuse. It's normalizing discrimination.
Yeah, inequity.
Yeah.
And that's true. But I guess so. I guess what I'm saying is it would be like we're going to go back to segregation, right? Separate but equal, and I don't see that happening either. So I'm hopeful that we're not going to fall. And maybe I'm just a Pollyanna, but I don't think I am. It's just I'm hopeful, I guess, that this bullshit is not, it's somehow going to be held at bay. But maybe not. Yeah, maybe we're just tumbling, into the abyss.
Why does our water taste like mud? I know it happens every year, but it seems muddier this year, and it seems like it's like, and I know there's only been 3 airplanes falling out of the sky because they always fall out of the sky. But, it just seems like only a matter of time before something happens and there's not a a checkpoint for it.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I feel like that's just, again, we're at the end times of the 40-year, campaign of deregulation, neoliberalism, whatever, free market,
all right,
sort of capitalism. And so and Trump is that, and having the world's richest man operating within the government, an unelected, unvetted, sort of appointed overseer, right? That to me, yeah.
Hey, Rick, he's been vetted by our economy.
That's right.
April Smith says, I'm getting a Europe in 1939 vibe right now.
Yeah.
Cody says U.S. empire is collapsing.
That's all goes back to this idea of American exceptionalism. I think about that, where it's like, oh yeah, that thinking that we somehow are special and America is special in the same way that other exceptionalists think, oh yeah, this is, God's country or whatever, but also thinking, oh, that somehow we're going to be able to fight and not fall into the abyss of fascism or authoritarianism because we're America. We're special. We've got something special. We're not going to be Germany 1939, 1936, 1932, whatever. I think we're more like 32? Is that where we're at right now?
The consensus of our listeners here is that the Trump regime is using the social issues to smokescreen the financial grift that they're working on. Kevin says, I don't think they really care. Maybe more mafia than Nazi, and Cody, Cody says there are social issues are just used by both parties to distract us from the big shit. So there are bad people on both sides, Cody says.
Well, that's the argument of political orders, right? So that idea that so we were in this era of, again, sort of free market neoliberalism. It's all the corporate market kind of will sort of lead and correct, and obviously we're at the end point of the failure of that approach because it's basically winds up at some point killing people, right? Because it values financial interests above human interest, right? And so now we're in a we're transitioning into we're going to have to figure out something, how to run the world as not a game of, an economic simulation, or some, whatever. So I don't know. But yeah, and so that also means that we could tumble into some nightmarish dark ages. I guess it's entirely possible. Great. See, I was being optimistic, and now
I think you're
took
still
me
being
into
optimistic.
Mr. Apocalypse, right?
No.
I went to Apocalypse Rick finally. Circled back to Apocalypse Rick, right? It just takes a little bit of work.
Well, yeah. It's easier for you to do it when the Democrats are in power, I think. All right.
And so that's the question. Yeah. So talking about Republicans and Democrats, it's not. It's this philosophy of how to run the world, and so the end point of that is, you've got very, very wealthy people, and they are running the democracy. Then it's no longer a democracy, right? And any kind of idea of support or social well-being through a government, right, is being eradicated, right? So we're hitting that end point. And so the thing is, though, is more and more people are going to be dying, right?
Are Americans going to care about it, or maybe we won't hear about it? Maybe we won't hear about it because the news
you're talking
media.
about like USA,
US aid stuff, like
But no, I'm talking about more. it's as the chickens come home to roost, right? As these decisions and as you keep pushing the wealth up.
Oh yeah,
more and more, and
take away regulations and like they'll just
people die.
Yeah,
people are dying, right? And that's the problem with the free market, right? Is that there's a correction then. Well, it'll correct itself. It's like after a few hundred planes crash, then the industry will start regulating itself and start improving its service in order to prevent killing people.
And I don't know how many people died of COVID, but we have the same president again.
Yeah, so that's the flaw, I guess, of a democracy or an electoral process that is now controlled by wealth, right?
Yeah.
So you have
and so this is the end point of it, right?
Richest person in the world, investing
a
huge amount of money, and now has access and power to run the world, right?
Yeah, well,
or
that's
at
good.
Least a large section of it, part of it.
Guess we got to get rid of the Tesla, but why would we do that?
Well, no, I don't know. It's probably not worth it to sell.
Probably might be. All right. Well, we have our highest listenership right now. Did we watch anything this week? Did we see anything? I'm trying to remember. Like something.
We talked about Blues Brothers, and I talked about The Night Stalker. That was like an hour ago.
We wanted to but we wanted to see The Brutalist, but we saw something else. We actually saw something, right? What was it? I don't even
Did we go to a
remember.
movie theater?
No,
No.
I guess not. But I feel like something, like we spent time doing something nice, and then we're going to spend time seeing The Brutalist. I'm excited to see that. Did we see a movie? Did we watch something on the TV set? Feel like
Probably.
we're both.
I don't know.
Both
We're
well,
we're well over an hour here.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. We all hail Trump, and hail
See, why do you say stuff like that?
so we can come back again next week. They don't cut us off. They don't brick our Tesla, as it were.
Why would they brick? So, yeah, Severance. So somebody just wrote Severance. Yeah, I just watched the next episode, or the newest episode of
Are
Severance.
you enjoying it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing, and I was worried, second season, but frickin' John Turturro just put it through the goalposts, this new episode. It's definitely there. It's I don't know, man. I just keep thinking about it though, and it's like it's a super dark show. I always forget, and it's like, wow, this got it got really dark. Got really dark.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh, great. And John Turturro deserves an Oscar for his performance in the TV show.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What? Oh man, I can't remember. We did watch something. Oh, I guess maybe it
yeah.
was the Blues Brothers.
Yes. All right.
Thanks, April. You make our show better.